Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Wild Woods Zoo. Hope you guys are all having the most wonderful days. I'll be your host for this evening. My name is Leaf, and it's very great to have all of you guys over here. Whether you're new or a returning viewer, you're always welcome in this happy little corner. So today we are working on yet another section of our fox habitat. This is something that I had planned for quite some time. I wanted to have all these different pens for these foxes so that we could have every single color morph in here, because by God, they are gorgeous. So that's exactly what we're doing over here, and we're gonna take this speed build a little slow this time because it really wasn't too much of a speed build altogether. The footage really clocked in around like 20 minutes. I guess I could have done this live, but didn't really want to for that. But regardless, we're going to have a nice relaxing speed build today, so I hope you guys are ready for that. So you can see we only have one viewing opportunity for these guests over here, and this is something that I feel like would happen a lot of the time in these kinds of realistic kind of zoos, is right outside of the gift shop you have just this nice small habitat, especially for the red fox, where it's like they would kind of fit pretty well over there. They're pretty marketable animals, so you would definitely see like red fox plushies right out the door or something. I think that'd be a really adorable thing to have right there. So we get started on our habitat perimeter, and you can already see, because these are climbable pieces, even though that even as that if the climbable pieces were really the cause of lag, and Frontier said they weren't, they really are. There's really no way around it. They cause a whole bunch of lag, so either Frontier just doesn't know their own pieces, or I'm right. Either way, we get that all set over there, and we reuse a lot of things in this habitat. We reuse the doors and gates that we use for our animals over here. And those gates are just reused doors. We love to recycle over here is what I'm saying. But in the end, it just helps keep a nice consistent theming. And I think it looks pretty good once all is said and done. So we get all those main things all settled before we move on to actual terrain work. Because what else can we really do in this habitat? We're not working with any like drastic landscapes like in the moose habitat. No, we're keeping it very much more simple than anything else, and we are going back to our roots with this zoo and really focusing on like the small tiny details that really help make this zoo stick out from the rest of the ones that I built. So you can see we're getting started on these nice little small pace areas, and we kind of use those as a guide as to where to put all the rest of the foliage and rock work and such like that. So I wouldn't put any rock work necessarily where the sand is, only along the edge of the sand, because that's usually where you would get a lot of rocks, is not in sand itself, but around it. Because sediment kind of breaks up and you would kind of have like these nice sandy areas. So I'm having them have this nice little lookout right at the guest viewing, and I think that'll work out pretty good in the end. I think it's gonna look pretty swell once all is said and done. I hope you guys enjoy this habitat too, because it's super adorable. But we have another red fox habitat to do as well. You can see in that brown kind of corner back over there. I still need to work on another one, and that's going to be its own video as well. I know you guys will probably be like, oh my god, Leaf, I'm so sick of all these red fox habitat videos. But you know what? I'm going on vacation soon, and I just got to make sure that you guys have enough videos out there to watch from me so that you guys don't get bored. Listen, I know the holidays are relatively busy for the other YouTube makers, but I always want to make sure that I have stuff out there for you guys so that, you know, maybe if you just need a little bit of time to yourselves to watch a little video, I'll be right there with the video for you guys. So making our way throughout here, and we add the faux rocks because I really haven't used these all too much. Admittedly, because the habitats that we were building for were huge, and we can't really use them in those big habitats, so I'm kind of like, okay, we get to use these again. And again, I wanted to have this nice big tree over here. I think we settled on the yew tree just because it really is such a beautiful tree to work with. It's not really a useful kind of tree, all things being considered, but I really do like how much like shade it gives and just the intricate little shadows that we get in there. And here I am choosing what foxes I want in here. I think I settle on the silver fox, as well as a white fox. I think that might be albino or leucistic. I really don't remember. But those are kind of the colors that we're working with over here. Nothing really too crazy. But I just really like the idea that we have all these beautiful fox morphs. And we're like, you know what? We're going to make good use out of all these guys. So let's just throw them all in here. So, of course, we have to work on foliage. There's no way we're getting through a wildwood zoo without working on foliage. Even the bat habitat that we do in the next episode has a lot of foliage in it. And it's all a cave on the inside, so you'll see how that works out. But we are getting to work with our ferns throughout here. Of course, the lady ferns give this beautiful, nice new color that really I haven't played around with all too much. I've probably played around with it back in Sugar Pine, but I really didn't make good use out of it back then. I really like what I do with it over here, just because it's just so much more dark. You get so much more greens in this zoo, and it's just super beautiful when all is said and done. So you can see I'm also using our Yorkshire grass all throughout here, because we have to have this feel nice and lush. Normally, you don't get too much dirt in red fox habitats. I know in the main wildlife habitat, they actually have very dense grass. So much so that you can't really see the foxes all too well so often, but I think it still looks super beautiful nonetheless, and that's kind of the vibes that I'm going for throughout here. And I'm also using our saltwort bushes wherever I feel like we need a little bit more height, so I'm kind of doing those around the trees and the fences and stuff like that, normally areas where the foxes wouldn't really interact with and such like that, and also throwing down the leaves because it's a wildwood zoo. We have to have all those beautiful autumn leaves kind of everywhere. It's gonna be weird seeing this zoo in like the springtime with like all the dead leaves still there. Our groundskeepers are on vacation, so I also add another riverbush willow tree right there just because it makes sense with all the fallen leaves and stuff. And I also add a burrow back there because I figured we didn't use one before, so I was like, you know what, we gotta have one here for our little fox boys, so we have them right there. And I also add a few enrichment items every so again. One of the things I love about sandbox mode is the fact that I don't need to worry about animal requirements. It's much so more implied. That's usually how I like to play. I know so many of you guys out there love to account for your animal stats and stuff like that. That's just not me, but I cannot resist putting in a few enrichment items because that's exactly what real zoos have. They have these beautiful, not really beautiful in some cases, sometimes they're just kind of like strewn about, but a whole bunch of enrichment items, which goes such a long way. Sorry, I'm a little tired right now. In just making a habitat look so much more lived in, making it feel like it's a lot more appropriate for the animal in question. And that's exactly the stuff that I love to see in my zoos. So adding the rest of the fences over here, which, oh my gosh, these fences have carried this entire zoo. They're so beautiful. I do forget, you guys can check out the first video for their actual name, or the second video, I'm not really too sure. But they made this beautiful, beautiful fence set. Pardon me while I yawn. Sorry about that, but it's a fence that I fall in love with, and it's just so awesome to use all throughout here. You can see I'm struggling to use free build now because of that stupid kind of like tilt on x-axis kind of hotkey. I don't know what hotkey I keep on kind of like doing whenever it makes it do that, but I gotta learn that soon because I would like to turn it on and off at will, but, you know, obviously it doesn't really work out for the best of us. Adding some more decoration around the entrance to the gift shop itself, because this would be the area where you would kind of finish off your zoo experience. So I want to include a lot of decoration around here, a lot of areas to sit as well. You could see me throw down some of those benches. Just areas where the parents can kind of chill out. Maybe one parent goes in with the kid and kids and so on and so forth. I just like to build those little kind of implied things right over there. It's just nice. Also using some of Lion's signs. A big shout out to Lion. These also have carried us throughout the entire zoo. I've always said never be afraid to use blueprints in your own zoos. Especially if you're not going too heavy with the blueprints, always make sure to stick with a few. That'll really help your zoo stick out. These ones are the fences and the signs from Lion. Just really, really awesome pieces. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hope I know this usually comes out at like 10 a.m. Hope none of you are getting too tired from all my yawning. I've just had long days, very long days, but still enjoying what I'm doing. So I'm adding the rest of the foliage on the outside of the habitat as well. Always do say the outside is just as important as the inside of the habitat. So we try and gussy that up a little bit more. I know this is kind of like a nook and cranny that you really wouldn't care too much about the zoo, but I always find such beauty in these areas. I always find myself just mesmerized in some of like the lesser known areas of zoos just because it's so much more quieter, it's so much more quaint, and sometimes you could see a really cool animal over there, like our red foxes. Normally people don't really give these guys too much attention, but they're just a really fun animal to build for, and you know what? I'm just very happy with it altogether. Also adding these climbing frames, because foxes can climb, believe it or not, over here as well, just to help keep it nice and active for them. But that is really it, my friends. I want to thank you all for stopping by. It really means a lot. If you did enjoy the video, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm sure you guys already have that in the back of your heads. So if you can, I'd very much appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys have the most wonderful of wonderful days, and I'll catch you all in the next episode of Wildwood Zoo. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Goodbye now.